Hi Capricorn, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. And my coffee, or my cream with a splash of coffee as I like it. That's terrible. Sorry, and it's like, the cup is wet, so it's, okay. Sorry about that. So, we are talking about June. Crazy, right? I hope it's not too loud outside. If it is, let me know. I'll close the door. I only have it open about an inch. But it's like the first day that we've had sun in like 5 days. So, like, open all the doors and windows. Anyway. So, we're talking about June. I also, if you saw, I released a series on readings by human design profile, and I'm obsessed. I think the messages were amazing, and you know, there's so many beautiful things about human design, and you know, like everything kind of works together, you know, so there's not just one thing that's more important than the other. However, I chose the profile because that was the thing that got me hooked into human design. It got me. So really it's just like, you know, an additional avenue to bring you messages that is outside the typical, you know, I guess zodiac sign. And I have to be unique. So anyway, check those out. If you don't know your human design profile, I linked a website in each one of those videos for you to grab your human design body graph. And then once you get it, it'll tell you what your profile is. And then of course, just head over to the corresponding profile. So let's see. Oh, and happy Pride Month. I wanted to say that. So again, we're talking about June. I don't necessarily have like a specific spread. I know last month we did a 9-card spread. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to fit 9 cards into the frame here. So we're probably going to do 6. Shuffle a million times, and then when it feels good, we'll cut the deck, lay out 6 cards, and we'll talk about it. So, okay. Yeah. Okay. When that starts happening, I know it's ready to go. All right. Let's see. 3 of Materials, or the 3 of Pentacles. The Muse of Voices. 7 of Inspiration. 10 of Inspiration. Queen of Voices. And the World. And then we have the Fool at the bottom of the deck. Okay. So, very cool. I say that every time. I mean, it's true every time. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to close my front door so my dog wouldn't start barking at some random time because somebody's walking by. So we start with the 3 of Materials, or the 3 of Pentacles. Very much Capricorn energy, right? Just by being Earth. I don't think it's like specifically a Capricorn card. Oh, it is. Just kidding. So here you are showing up at the beginning of your reading. It's interesting because, you know, I mean, there might be other people involved in this situation, or it's It could even maybe involve how you feel about those other people in the situation. Because the Three of Pentacles talks about collaboration. You know, it's like the card of teamwork, right? Like everybody has their jobs to do in a group. And it's all for like a common purpose, right? But this is also, you know, it's a 3. So it's pretty early in the kind of journey through the Pentacle suit. So this could even be just planning, like that kind of initial planning stage. It could have to do with a business too. Like, you know, maybe you are either partnering with 1 or 2 other people. Maybe you're trying to find investors. This could even just be your job where, you know, I mean, if you work as part of a team or just your coworkers in general. And the 10 of Inspiration is a 10 of Wands. So this would say that you're carrying the majority of the burden here. And the Queen of Swords here is honestly kind of like pissed about it. That's the way that it feels. This has this energy of like herding cats, right? I mean, like this person, it looks like those are goats. No, cows? Maybe they're cows. Hey, I mean, maybe it has something to do with like a shelter or like an animal rescue. But again, you know, I mean, the 10 of Wands with the 3 of materials, I mean, like this, like again, you know, you are carrying the majority of the burden, or this whole thing just feels like a burden. But, you know, the 10s are the completion. That's the climax, right? Because after the 10, we basically go back to the ace. So whatever, you know, this is, if there is some sort of burden that you're carrying, this is signifying the end of that. And maybe that is something that you're considering. Like, you know, you could be considering leaving the team. You could be considering leaving the job. You could be considering backing out of the business partnership or the investment. This is like, you know, kind of packing up your shit and like moving on. And interestingly enough, we have the Muse of Voices or the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. I mean, I would say like both of these energies have their mind made up. You know, voices have to do with or swords have to do with our thoughts, our intellect. It has a lot to do with our ego also, right? Because that's where we hear our ego. You know, the King of Swords is going to be clear in thought. There's a discernment that goes on there. You know, ego is in check. And also, I mean, you know, we have this figure here that's kind of on a different kind of journey, different path. You know, there's a bit of a lone wolf feel to this. Maybe it's branching out on your own. because, you know, there's kind of this little like, you know, gateway or portal thing going on here, because this has mountains. You know, there's mountains in here. That's not the same landscape that's, you know, kind of in the corners. So, you know, I mean, there could just be some sort of passage, some sort of, I mean, you know, like bridge that you're crossing, like, you know, I mean, this could be in a different realm of business that you were doing before, just a different way of even perceiving it. I mean, these two figures are definitely going to express their thoughts as well. And then the Queen of Swords down here, like I said, just the way that she's kind of looking at this 10 of Inspiration. I don't know. To me, there's like a slight look of disgust in there. Maybe even disappointment. You know, the Queen of Swords can be described as being a bit cold-blooded. Like, she's going to cut through bullshit really quickly. And it's almost like, you know, there's going to be objectivity and it's going to be logical. Like, you know, because again, swords have to do with our mind space, right? So it's going to be, you know, just very kind of based on fact. And it's interesting because we don't have any cups or any emotions on the table here. So this is all having to do with the actions that you're taking and your thought process around it. This could be, you know, like another partnership, you know, because we do have the King and the Queen here. So, you know, there could be another partnership either coming in, or I don't necessarily want to say like a third party type situation. Like, I'm not a fan of getting involved in those type of energies, but I don't really do, you know, like relationship reads anyway. But if it's there, I'll bring it up. And then we have the 7 of Inspiration, or the 7 of the 7 of Wands. And the 7 of Wands is very much about, you know, kind of being on the defense, standing your ground. It has like a hint of the Strength card in it, because, you know, it tells you to really kind of use that resolve and that perseverance to get through a situation. And it's generally, you know, like maybe you feel like the walls are kind of closing in on you. And, you know, this figure here is like trying to keep them open. So this to me feels like sticking to your guns. Like, don't allow yourself to be talked out of it, because I feel like that's kind of part of what the 7 of Wands is too, is that, you know, there's generally one person in the center within a defensive stance, and then there's 6 other wands, you know, kind of coming at them. And I always see that as being other people's opinions, other people's doubts, other people's shit that they try to project onto you. And it's kind of like, again, like really kind of stand your ground. Like, don't allow yourself to be influenced. Like, really kind of keep this portal open for yourself. And again, like with the portal thing, like hold on to your vision, because it seems like it's worth it. And what's interesting is that we end with the world. We start with the Three of Materials. We end with the world. This is the completion of a thing. The legit completion of, like, you've gone through the whole fool's journey. You've learned everything that you needed to do. You transformed in ways that you needed to transform, and it's time to move on. So, this could signify the actual end of this thing, whatever this is here. However you're thinking about it, you're sticking to your guns, right? Like you're holding on to your own vision. And then what's interesting too is that we go right into the Fool card at the bottom of the deck. So something is ending and literally you're going right into the next thing. And that's life, right? Like we are constantly going through these cycles. But this to me is signifying that, like the lesson that you needed to be learned has been learned. Like there is a major possibility that you won't experience this type of situation in this way again, right? And if that is a relationship, like maybe you kind of recognize a pattern that you have in relationship, and this would be you working through that, like actually literally working through, really digging into like, how is this the pattern? Like, what is it about my past and about the people in my past and the experiences and everything that created this pattern in my life with relationship? And you could be resolving that. You could be healing that within yourself. And like I said, like that level or that type of relationship, it's like you wouldn't even let that happen again because you would see it coming and you would be like, no, this lesson has been learned. We're done with that. And again, if it is a job, if it has to do with business, even if it has to do with like business partnership, right? Like, again, there's some sort of lesson that is being learned here. Like you're seeing it very clearly. And, you'll be able to see it very clearly if it comes or if it tries to come in again. This is very cool. I know I already said that. But I am going to leave it there. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, Capricorn.